Hello. Hi, everyone. Coming in. Coming in to do a live. I'm just trying to bring up on my phone as well. Welcome. My name's Corrie for those who are new. And I'm a psychic medium, mystic, life coach, all the things in between, spiritual, metaphysical teacher. And that's for all my new people. For all those who are used to being here, welcome. You know who I am and what I do. But I just came in from shoveling snow and just really felt the need to come in, or the desire to come in. I feel like I was being pulled in here to come in and do a live today. So we're just going to give a moment for people to join in. And just wait. So there is some people coming, of course. I didn't announce this. Good morning. Good morning, Lindsay. Okay, that's it. I'm just trying to make sure I'm everywhere that I should be. I see I'm on Facebook, and I'm just waiting to see if I'm on YouTube as well. For those wondering, I'm broadcasting on both. A Saturday morning drop in. I just came in from shoveling snow. Look at me. It is crazy amount of snow has fallen here in Lacombe. And so, yeah, I had my toucan. I was out shoveling snow. Driving to town sucked. The highway is horrible. Oh, energy news today. I know there's a lot of sucky energy. There's a lot of suckiness out there, but the snow's pretty. So yeah, Lindsay, Corey's driving down around that way too. He had to leave yesterday. They had to go pull their condensate and stuff to get to locations so that they wouldn't get stuck and run out. So yeah, he's on these roads too. The roads are crazy. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Liz. So I am on YouTube, and I am just also answering messages on my phone because I was messaging as I was coming in here. It's almost afternoon. Yes, it is. It is. We're very close. So staying warm inside. Good. Yeah, because it is cold. Good morning, Sherry and Anessa. Good morning. And I think that's all I see right now. This is not announced that I was coming in here in any way. So, just letting somebody else know that I am on. They're asking if I'm on. Hold on. Give me a second, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So Lindsay asked about, hope we got better news. I don't even know what's going on. I didn't even do a weekend energy update. I did a week-long one. We have just come through. We've just come through the birth canal. We've just come through some big energies, and there was some big energies. But yesterday, and I didn't know this, I actually heard this from an astrologer, an old guy's astrologer who's been at this for years, and he happened to pop up in one of my feeds, and he just was talking about how there was like this 24-hour period where Sagittarius was doing the shift, and it was something to do with the connection that was in that moment, that we had like 24 hours of extremely positive energy, and it ran in through yesterday. And so it was until like yesterday evening or something. So there was this started in the positive energy. But Okay, now I can put my phone on silent. Sorry, guys. And so yeah, and so we had all kinds of really good influential energy that was happening, and there is some good. Sometimes the way to goodness, sometimes the way to great, always comes at a cost of what is not great. What is not great, but what we've gotten comfortable with. Remember that. So on our way to greatness, it kind of has to clear out the things that are not great, but we settle for or we get comfortable with. How many times do we just settle for something because it's just much easier than having to put in the effort or the work or to have to go through clearing things out, the destruction, right, to get to that good. It's like having a clean house. It's like we can look around and see the things we need to move or the things we need to dejunk or the things we need to get rid of, but we'll look at it forever sometimes and go, oh, I just got to get to that. I got to do that. I really want to change that. But we sit in the I wanna, and we keep looking at it and we keep telling ourselves we really need to do that, really need to clean out those drawers. We really need to clean out that closet. But yet we don't do it. But yet the thought never leaves us. We stay with that anguish of it. And we hold on to that, right? We hang on to that energy. And because we hang on to that energy, then we get stuck, and then we're kind of shaming ourselves. We're getting mad at ourselves. We're calling ourselves like all kinds of like, why am I always this way? And why do I always do that? Instead of getting up and getting things done, which takes effort. So our way from one to the other means there is a force that works for us that sometimes kind of blows through everything that we have created comfort in, but it doesn't get us any closer to everything that brings us to living our best of life. How cleaning house right now, the best wisdom comes through in a humble moment of scrubbing the toilet. Always happens. The greatest wisdom comes when we're scrubbing the toilet. I get some of my greatest wisdom scrubbing the toilet. There's nothing like staying humble by continually cleaning your own house. um, and so yes, and so sometimes we go through sometimes that energy, not in every situation, but the things that are happening, the things that have to be cleared out of the way have to be moved in order for us to get to the next stage, the next experience, the next moment, the next opportunity. And sometimes we hang on and hold on too long to what was. And one of the big things that is coming up in this energy is really that fact of hanging on. Where are we hanging on to what was, or what was once something that was so all inspiring, but now it's kind of fizzled. And prime example is if I were to, so no, I don't want to use me. So if you look back at life and you look back at experiences and you look back at pictures and you look back at times of when you've done something very good and very well in life, like you're so proud of something, and then you keep trying to recreate from using that experience or that memory for you to try to recreate something else again, but you keep trying to make it like it once was. You keep trying to keep that feeling alive. Keep trying to keep that experience alive because you remember that experience. You remember the emotions. You remember how excited you were about something, or how you felt good in little increments of that experience. And so you hold on to those experiences, right? And so you're trying to recreate that again, trying to make that happen again. And it always falls short. Why does it fall short? It falls short because we're not the same person. We have evolved, we have grown, things have changed. And instead of allowing a new experience to come with new emotions, we hold on to that experience. Whereas if you look back and and this is actually something that we use in connecting to consciousness, right? Is you look back and you're not afraid to see the things that were the hard parts, the struggles, the challenges, and just say those things existed too. So those things are still existing. Everything is existing. The challenges are still there. I'm having the challenges. I'm feeling the challenges, but I felt the challenges there. But what we hold on to, and what keeps us weighing us down and keeps us being frustrated that we can't recreate something that once was that we're holding on to something, right? We're hanging on to a energy, we're holding on to a story, a narrative. And those are the things that also keep people from healing, is because we hold candles gone, because we hold on to that story, right? We hold on to the one thing, and because then you can't recreate it, because then you can't have that experience again, because then that person is not there, then nothing is working out the way that you had dreamt it up in your head, or the way that you think life should be. Then we're mad, we're disappointed, we got all that energy. So that is all, that energy is all with us again, because we're in a new phase. And we're moving into a year of the 9. We're in 8. We're moving into the 9. 8 was really about propelling us forward. 9 means we're this close, but we're not all the way there. And what do we need to do? And so 2025 is going to be a 9. Now, if you want to know more about the gates, the pathways, the human design aspect, if you want to know more about the archetypes and about the channeling through each and every zodiac sign, Lisa and I, on the December the 14th, we are doing a 2.5-hour live Zoom video where it's interactive. Now it is it's something that you have to purchase to be a part of. It's through the Academy. It's through More Than Existing Academy. So through the Academy, you can come in, you can sign up, and you can be a part of the 2.5-hour journey that we're going to take through those gates and through the energy of each and every month, each and every zodiac sign, so each and every season. And we're going to talk about all the gates. We're going to talk about all the energy. We're going to talk about the possibilities. We're going to talk about the archetype of that. And so there is a whole event you can come in and be a part of. It's on December the 15th, on December the 15th, on the full moon. And it is in the evening, and you can sign up directly on the Academy. All the links are on the Facebook page. You can go to the websites. We got it on our websites. It's everywhere. So yeah, you can come be a part of that if you really want to dive a little bit deeper into it. But I'm giving you the energy that we're in today. And so this is a part of where we are. And sometimes we take what we're feeling to be very personal, right? This is what we're feeling. This is what I got going on. It's like, no, there's an energy that's moving through us. And what we're feeling is what we're connecting to our memories, and then activating the emotion to go with it, right? And so there is a possibility of creating a new emotional response, and how you emotionally respond to everything that is happening. Oh, December the 14th. I thought it was the 15th. It's on a Sunday. Right? Isn't that the 15th? It's on the Sunday, Lisa. It's supposed to be on the Sunday, December the 15th. More Than Existing astrological reading, December the 15th, 6 p.m. That's what my phone says. Okay. And so this energy is playing in emotions. And why is it playing in emotions? It's because we've just made the shift, and we're in like this newborn energy of where we can really start utilizing whoops where we can utilize the emotional intellect, right? So the emotional maturity. And so one of the things about emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, and this comes up in spiritual work, and you can't neglect this part when you're doing spiritual work. Whenever I'm doing an oracle card reading, whenever I'm doing a reading for people, I bring this work in, because how else do you heal? How else do you go through the healing aspect if you don't if you don't move through the narratives and the stories that the mind creates, right? We have to break things down in order to see a deeper truth. And when we can see a deeper truth, then we can begin to heal. So who do I communicate with? I communicate with your spirit, not with your mind. I don't care what's going on in your mind. I connect to I do care, but I connect to your spirit and what the spirit, what the higher aspect of yourself is communicating back. And so the same thing when I'm speaking to loved ones, and some say, well, I didn't know, like, I don't know them as that. And I said, because you only know them as the one role they were in your life. You know people to what people give to you, what people reveal to you, what people show. But people in our lives there is so much more to them. There is layers to people. The same thing there is to you. There is layers to you, and there's layers in the energy, and there's layers in life. But when we can really look at how we can become our own worst enemy, how we can cultivate and create we already have sadness, but why do we feed the sadness with more sadness? So we look back and how do we create? So let's say, for example, you started. So I'm going to use an experience. So starting my business years ago, like starting my salon years ago. And if I were to think about starting the salon and the achievement of beginning the salon, I'm like, oh my God, there's a feeling of that, of there was starting the shop. Now, it didn't start in Slave Lake. It actually started in Newfoundland. And so getting back to the original source of where things began was I was so excited. I was scared. I was excited, but I could feel that sense of being able to do something on my own and for myself. And it'd be so easy to connect to that and just say, it was so wonderful. It was always so wonderful. And then I moved to Slave Lake, and then we started Magic Scissors there, and that was so wonderful. And yeah, it was wonderful. But it'd be a bullshit story to say it was all wonderful. It was not all wonderful. There was a lot of things that went with it. There was a lot of growing, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and a lot of maturing that had to happen. And I had to grow up with that business. And then I had to grow out of that business. And then I also had to really grow out of telling myself the story that all I ever wanted to be was the hairstylist. I loved it. I loved everything that I did. But then I had to get to what it served and what purpose it served to be able to keep the shadow alive, to be able to keep that aspect of myself satisfied and happy. But yet, when I looked in the mirror, was I always happy? Was I really happy? Was I ever really happy? Did I even know what happiness was? And so that's all the breakdown that is really revealing itself in some of this energy now. It is the energy that just says, if we want to take a new path, we got to stop. We got to tell ourselves a deeper truth. You got to find a deeper truth. You got to know a deeper truth. And that is the beauty of being able to use the work that comes in this metaphysical world, to be able to do those things in a way. Do I love the things that I do? Do I love yes. Do you love all aspects? No. Right. And so this energy is all around us, and we're feeling it. We're existing in it. We're a part of it. And it's always there. So when people ask me, so I will pull some cards, but I really want to put this out there for people. So when people say, "Oh, can I have a card for today?" What are you going to do with the message? What are you going to do what are you going to do when you get that message? What does that message represent for you? Where does that take you? And where do you go from there? Right? And so a part of that is to really be able to deep dive. So, for example, creating the cards is in layers. There's layers and layers and layers to here. And it's not just in one card. There's layers and layers and layers that got to the messages to create that one card. And so the oracle aspect of this is observing, right? When we want to look at our past, we have to be willing to open up the whole book and explore the whole book in layers, only to what we're ready for, right? But to see all things. And so we can see the character we played, if you see the role you played, if you see how you showed up, if you see how you treated others, if you see how all of this went on, you start to be able to, what we do is I help people map. We're able to map out these scenarios. And so it's like putting people on pedestals. Now, this happens often. So for example, when we have all of these struggles with people in our lives because they're not doing what we want them to do, they're not being the people that we want them to be, but then something happens and life changes. And when something and it doesn't mean they all pass away or die, it means when they leave or a split or a breakup happens. And it can be so easy to put someone on a pedestal or to make someone out to be the worst person in the world. And it's the extremes, right? And it's what we do to be able to bring us into the state of emotions that we're creating, that we want to experience, or that we're so that it makes it easier, or it makes it so that we can feel a certain way. But when we look at it on a bigger scale, I'll say to people, well, did you always hate that person? That person that you once loved, that person that you once were best friends with. You were once best friends with them, and now all of a sudden they're the worst person in the world. How do people go from being the best to the worst? Because you've seen all the good, and then you see all the bad, right? You see all of this, and then you see all of this, and so there's these extremes. But what was it that attracted you? What brought you together? What expectations did you have, and what expectations didn't get met? And so it's always that narrative, and the reason why is so that we can stop our mind chatter and stop ourselves in our tracks to continue to keep creating more of a vortex of a storm or a problem, and to start to map back and start to say, well, prime example, would be someone who wasn't, well, they're so controlling. What did you love about that in the beginning? Well, they were taking care, it felt like I was being seen, or they cared for me, but then it got too much, and then it became obsessive, and then it became this, and then it became that. But what were you seeking? What part of your hungry ghost, what part of your shadow was being fulfilled through that relationship, right? And what part of that? And so calling ourselves up and out is where accountability comes in. And all of the energy right now is really, truly telling us about accountability, right? And being able to use that accountability in not picking ourselves apart, but with compassion, look at the powerful influence that we can have over our state of being, your mindset, what the expectations you place upon another, the things that you hold people to, the extremes, going from one extreme to the other. It is such a fine line between love and hate, between love and pain, right? There's such a fine line, and that fine line matters. And that fine line is that place of where we choose. And we're at that pivotal point where we have a fine line. We have a fine line to hear, depending on where we are in our layers, but each layer has its own line to where we're either going to go down or rise up, go down or rise up. And it's where we get to choose. And so each and every day gives us the opportunity to rise up, go down, rise up, go down. Each minute, each moment of the day, rise up, go down, rise up, go down. And always remembering, you are not that person who once was. Neither are other people, right? And so when I'm communicating even with spirit, and they tell me, especially people like moms or dads, and so people say, well, that's not the mother I knew. I'm like, but did you know the woman? Did you know this person by name? Did you know them as their name? Did you know them as a friend? Did you know them as a partner in a relationship? Did you know them as this? Did you know them as who they were when they let everything else go? Or did you always just know them by mom? Who did you know them as? And so you have this legacy of a story that keeps that story alive, because you create that narrative, that story, but that's only a part of the story. And so once we can open up, we can see that bigger. And so bring that back into us, macro to micro. So when your spirit brings it back into you, this is who you've been, this is the way you are. But that's only a part of the story. That's only a part of a story. You only know pieces and parts of who you are. You know the mask that you wear, you know the temperaments that you use, you know your weapons that can either make people feel guilty, that can make people do things that you want them to do. You know the way that you respond, how you react. But if you open that up, you can see there is more. And there's more to the story, and there's more versions of you, and there's more to come, and there's more to evolve, and there's more to be grown, and there's more there. And so when we can be the more, we can live as the more. It's an amazing journey, right? It's such an amazing journey. So if I pulled a card for you, and you took that card and you screenshot it, and you spent a whole week or a whole month with that card, and you go back to that card every single day and ask yourself something about that card, by the end of the month, you're going to know something even more about yourself. You're going to know something deeper about you that you didn't know. Once I spent a whole month with the Tower card. I had to pick one card from the tarot, and I got the Tower card. And I was so mad. I'm like I haven't been through enough. Why would I need a Tower card? Why do I need to go through this now? And after a month with the Tower card, my whole life and the whole Tower card was nothing the same, right? There's more than existing, right? And it is about more than existing. And so the Tower card, I went to everything that was in the Tower cards, including how bricks are laid. So if you look at the Tower card in tarot and you see the Tower is the brick and mortar that puts the bricks together. If all those bricks were stacked only on top of each other, they wouldn't be stable. Everything would crumble. But because they're built in layers, it's stable. It has more stability. So when the top broke off, it doesn't mean the foundation is gone. So we're always going to be kind of breaking off the top. There's always going to be something that's going to go down, something that's going to go wrong, something that's going to not work out. There's always going to be something that's going to feel disappointing, something that's going to feel down. But when those things happens, it gives us the opportunity, because now we know where the weak spot is. Now we know where we need to focus. Now we know life really happens. Now we know not to take anything for granted. And then we can build back on, and we can put things back together. And so this is layers, right? And so we are in layers. And if we try to do things without the strong foundation, we're always going to be feeling like we're crumbling all the way to the ground. So there is a real importance in this energy about the power of building strong foundations. And 2025, even 2026, is going to be about strong foundations. This kumbaya story of how, now we're gone into the age of Aquarius, life is going to be wonderful and great. Life will always have ups and downs. Life also has free will. So that's what we're looking at. And that's what we have happening. And that's where we are right now. So if you've just come in, I do suggest going back and listening to this whole channeled message, because this don't come from my head. This comes from out here. And so this message was just channeled through. I had no idea what I'm giving you when I come in here. I'm sitting here talking about what a hot mess I am today. And then this message appears, and this message comes. And this message is coming from me channeling. So this is coming from the higher consciousness. This is coming from divine consciousness, and it's bringing in this message. So this is a part of everything that is here to be like your big ass oracle card without a card, right? It's about where it hits us, where it sits with us. It gives us something to think about, something to contemplate, but also something to sit with. So when we can look at how we're reacting, how we're responding, we see how things are different. And that's how the true essence of incorporating everything of being this being really works, and how it works through us. And the more we spend the more we spend time trying to cultivate the perfection, or holding on to trying to recreate that perfect experience or that perfect story or that perfect, it takes away every bit of the opportunity of a divine moment, because the angst, the anxiousness, the anxiety, the pissed offness, everything else will intercept what could be a new experience, because all we're doing is looking back here. I'm a hot mess too. You all right? And so, yeah, that's what we got. And so, reason why I don't read the comments while I'm channeling this message is because I can't. And so once I come back, then I can look over here. So hello, everyone who's been joining in and everyone that's with me. So I can tell you, it feels as if the divine is like just going to us. It's so easy. It's so easy to get lost in our stories, in our thoughts, in our emotions. It's so easy to get lost in trying to force our experience, trying to work in the forcing things to happen, or trying to create things. And that's why I always say to people, I never know what's coming. I never know what's next. I don't even know what I'm doing next most times. I got up this morning, and I do have my morning routine. I got up, I spent some time in my morning routine, and then before I knew it, I had my leggings on and my fleece shirt. And I'm like, well, I didn't even want to get dressed yet today because it's snowstorm. Why did I want to get dressed? And then I looked out the window, and there was a great big woodpecker, like the big black woodpeckers with the red head. There was two of them in the tree. I'm like over the moon. So then I'm all excited again. And then before I knew it, I had my boots on. And before I had my coat on, I'm like, well, I wasn't even going anywhere today. And before I knew it, I was outside. And where did I need to be? I needed to be outside. I didn't know I needed to be outside. I was happy to stay inside. It's a snowstorm outside. Why did I need to be outside? And before I knew it, I was shoveling all the snow. I needed to be out in the fresh air. I needed to not be thinking. I needed to do all this, but it's not what I wanted. It was what I needed. And because I allow myself to just be moved as much as I possibly can, is everything was taking me on a whole experience. And the whole experience ended with, me being able to be outside, fresh air, mindfully shut down, and to feel the clearness that was coming in, so that I wasn't getting stuck in looking at anything from a view of, oh my God, like I need to get this done. I need to be doing this. It's like, no, that's not needs. That's fear stories. That's the fear of not doing enough or not being enough. There's nothing that needs to be done right now. There was nothing of necessity other than me being outside, and I happened to clear the snow. And so these are things that when we allow ourselves to be moved, we actually are moved into new experiences. But every time you're trying to recreate an experience, you'll never recreate the same experience again. Truth. Okay. So I am going to pull. That's so funny. See, you joined right at the right time, Teresa. There is a big message back throughout the whole beginning. So if you want to hear the big channeled message, I do suggest going back and listening all over again. And a rainy day in Nova Scotia. Yes, I was talking to my granddaughter in Newfoundland today, one of my grandchildren, and they're saying it's windy and cold and rainy there. I'm like, yuck. I'll take the snow over that at this time of the year. right? And so when when you're moving forward though, what you also have to move you forward, right? It's like, it's one thing to move your life forward, but you also got to move your mindset, how you show up, your habits, your patterns, your predictability, right? Like, those are the parts of ourselves that we have to be able to be willing to also allow to move forward. Sometimes our attitude is the thing. Our determination to hang on to who we are is what keeps us from constantly reinventing, reacting, recreating the same environment, even though the scenery may be different. And so if you want the environment to change, you also have to be willing to let the version of self kind of die away, and let something new grow, like the seasons, right? Like the seasons. Oh, vertigo, yuck. Yeah, that's a hard one. You're allowed to be frustrated though as well, Wendy. There's a space for all emotions, but I mean, the things that we do to ourselves to cause our own misery, to cause that angst, to continually be or continually trying to hold on to something or trying to recreate something. Right? I know that damp air I just can't do. Okay, so let's start with a general card, and then I'll pull a few cards. I have a little bit of time here. So see, you just can't make this shit up. I'm telling you, the unseen wound, thekla. And so this speaks of that sense of being able to re-harm ourselves, re-wound ourselves, right? We open up those wounds. We recreate that. What we do is sometimes you wake up and you re-harm yourself, or you open up a wound again every single moment, every single day, because each and every day or each and every month or whenever it is, you keep telling yourself the same narrative on what is missing, what is wrong, what is hurting, what is happening, instead of finding something that is like putting medicine in the wound. So if we want a wound to heal, we have to give it the right medicine. The right medicine is not something that is outdated. Outdated medication can't heal a wound. It just can't. It needs something that is going to work. Or it's for the wrong thing. If it can't solve it, right? And so in order to heal, we have to feed ourselves the right medicine. And that right medicine often means a lot more compassion and a lot more kindness, and really truly bringing in that light and that love, but also reality, also, honesty with ourselves. And so the way that we heal, so when a child, how many times have you as a child just tries to say, this happened and that happened, and then the parent goes, oh but, right? It's just like, but the child is saying that this is what happened and trying to say the experience, and they're like, or the kid's like, I want to go outside, it's raining out, and I want to go out and I want to play, and it's raining, and they're like, oh, but it's windy and it's cold and it's raining, you don't really want to go out there, do you? And the kid's like, yes I do, I really want to go out. And the kid goes, and then the child just goes, yes I do. And then they're like, oh, maybe I don't. Why don't they now want to go out? But they did 2 months ago. They don't want to go out now because the power of suggestion was, it's rainy, it's cold, it's miserable, and you won't want to go out there. And so the kid then starts to think about that. Whereas if you say, you know what, if I dress that child up appropriately, let them go out and have that experience, have that fun, they'll come back in and they're going to be happier. They might be colder, but they will be happier. There'll be something inside them that's happy. And so that child got to go into that experience that they felt excited about. But the moment we rob ourselves or rob others of the joy, so that scenario is what we do to ourselves over and over and over again. We do that. And so this Thecla, the unseen wound, says, now we are the parenting thought. We are the thought that is we are deflating our own little inner child. We're deflating the version of ourselves that may have been happy 5 minutes ago, that may have been excited about doing something, but now we're disappointing ourselves. Now we're taking away that moment. That's where our doubt comes in. When we doubt ourselves, when we second guess ourselves, or when we constantly are looking for some sort of experience that we once had. So if you remember what that was like, and you remember what that felt like, but you also remember what it was like to get cold, and that little child don't know what it's like, that they're going to get cold and damp until they get to experience the cold and damp. But if this is always being taken away because they're looking up to us, so there is a version of you that's looking up to you. There is that little inner child saying, when do we finally listen to ourselves? When do we finally listen to that little spark of joy? When do we start to accumulate that again within us? And so the unseen moon, Thecla, she has her swords. And so her swords are covered in roses, right? It is not, we have spiritual swords. We have spiritual weapons and tools that we can use that can cut the cords. It can break the old patterns. It can help us break the old patterns. It can bring about the change. And so when we place the divine on our shoulders and not the burdens on our shoulders, it's amazing what can take place. But that little light inside of us, that little light that's waiting to shine, that little light is the thing that can guide us. And when we let ourselves be guided by that light, then we are always being moved in that right direction. And not trying to force things to keep ourselves busy, not trying to always stay busy, because that is the things that are the distractions. When we are forcing things to happen, we are taking ourselves away from the possibility that we can be moved by something that is greater than us. And so that's the card, right? And so this is, those wounds that we have, those inner wounds, those experiences don't have to come from a big traumatic experience. It is the conditioning, the words, the thoughts, the beliefs of others, the habits, the values, the what people stood by, that are the things that deflate us, that we hold on to. One thing that came up actually when I was out shoveling was that desire, like I remember being, young and being told, you got to do something with your life. You better make sure you do something with your life. And I just look at how I'm so proud of my daughter, because she chose to walk away from her career at this time and to step deeper into just doing what her heart was telling her. And that was to be a mom. And I was shoveling, and that thought came in my mind of, we get so shamed and so guilted into believing that we have to go to be something for who, for show or for other people, that we forget that we're already something, and that whatever we do, we're something. We are something. We are a somebody. And so that narrative that we got to go be somebody, we got to go prove ourselves, we got to go do that too. We got to go stand up. We got to go stand out. We got to go do all of those things so that we could be somebody. And as I'm out shoveling that snow, and happily out shoveling that snow in the driveway, not lifting it, pushing the snow, can't lift, pushing the snow across the yard, I thought, I am so seen out here. All the years that I spent chasing life, and my most happiest of experiences and moments come simply in such beautiful ways. And the thing that, if I could have done it differently, if I had known this part of myself then, if I had not fell into the fear stories, the feelings like you had to put the pressure on yourself, that when I was a mom, goes back to the more than existing, I would have taken more time to be a mom. Because this is what Magic Scissors did. I started a business. I got pregnant with my daughter. I worked until I couldn't work no more, till my feet were so fat they couldn't fit in a shoe. I had a child. I went back to work at 7 when my daughter was 7 days old. I returned behind that chair. And I went back to work and I left my daughter with my aunt and she took care of my daughter. And I didn't get to be the mother. And I didn't get to be the mother I needed to be because there was so much pressure and guilt and shame laid up on me. And so if I could look at the truth. So to go to build another new business, like, oh, you got to go build a business. You got to go build that. And I'm like, no, I got to live. And I got to live a life because there will be nothing. There's nothing in life that will ever keep me. So there's nothing that's going to go into, there's no old wounds. I have the scars. I have the scars. I don't have the old wounds that will put salt in the wound, that will make me jump into action to make me do something because I feel guilty or I feel the pressures of life that I need to do it. If it's inspired, it gets done. Right. And so that moment and that experience and me having to then eventually burn out and shut down the shop, totally burn out, led me down this path of spending a lifetime trying to make up for the person that I thought wasn't enough because I was a failure. I didn't do things right. I was not a great mother. All those stories in my head left me chasing something for a lot of years. I don't know who needs to hear that today, but I feel like someone needs to hear that. And it's like, stop chasing that part. And when you let the wound actually heal with love and you love that, you fall back in love and you feel for that young version of yourself and you feel that pressure, you feel that pain, you feel how all alone you might have been. When you can feel that and you know that experience and you know it's so deep that you look at the version of yourself and then it's like, yeah, no, that's the shoulda, coulda, woulda. But now I'm here today. I will not treat this version of myself the same way that I treated myself back then. That will not happen ever again. And I will sit out. I'll be out here pushing snow around because how did I end up in a back surgery? How did I end up in a back surgery? I broke my back. Right? Broke my back chasing something. And so that chasing to always be a better person, to perform better, to perfect things, to be more, to do more, fucking exhausting. So that's your card. So wherever you need to hear that, now look at your life on how many of those places that may still be playing out. And when we allow that part to heal with love, then you wear the scars and you can see the scars. You know, how do we heal? Those spiritual tools that we have, those spiritual gifts that were given to you to heal, including your intuition, is telling you a different story than your head is telling you today. And the intuition, when your heart, is telling you a different story than your head is telling you, you'll start to soften up. And when you start to soften, you'll be able to move into vulnerability. And this energy is playing with us everywhere today about that new beginning, about that new start, about how we show up in life, in relationships, and about how we show up in our own lives and how we show up existing in our own world and what that will look like. So this is Thecla, and this is from my deck. And of course, she's an 8. So we're coming down to the end of the 8 year and we're going into a 9. We got this period of time to really look at things a little bit differently as we move forward. Okay, so a card. So I'm going to go with Cody first. I want to go to you, Cody. Would love a card. I lost my grandmother 2 weeks ago and trying to navigate my path now. Okay, Cody, instantly, I hope you're still here. Let me know if you're still here though, Cody. You've missed most of me. You have to go back, Felicia, and listen from the beginning. I suggest, you are there. Okay. I suggest anyone who's coming in late, go back and listen to this from the beginning, because don't ever ask me what's in here, because I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'd have to go listen to it. So, Cody, instantly, I just had this sense of You know, have you ever watched, what's that Disney movie? Coke, is it Coco? It's about the it's about the Day of the Dead. It's about the this Mexican celebration of the Day of the Dead. And I think the grandmother's like Coco in it. And I just got the image of the grandmother in that movie. And I just seen her and her memories and holding on, and she's sitting in the rocking chair, and her life is on her face. And that's what I just got, Cody, is the sense that your grandmother wore her life on her face. And that she wore her, there was a softness, but also a real knowing that she lived life, and that a lot of times you didn't get to see her worries, that she didn't put her worries so much out on everyone else, is that she put her love out there, and that she was always concerned about all of her people. And I do feel like she would either go into prayer or she'd pray for people, and that she just had this overwhelming sense of, she made everyone feel safe. She made everything okay. And what she's telling me is that she's always still that grandmother. Like, she's still that person. But the place that she took up in your life, the space that she took up in your life, that space is now space where you are not to step in to fill her shoes, but you're to remember all that she has given you, all that teaching that she's given you, all that love that she has given you. Yes, she did. Even when things were bad, she held a smile, right? And I feel her warmth. I feel her love, but I also feel her conviction. Like, she was definitely a strong woman, and my ears are ringing. She was definitely a strong woman. She had a knowing about her. My rock and my safe haven. Yeah. And she's still that for you. Of course, she's not in a physical form, but she is still that. And she just says that she gifted you all of her wisdom, all of her tools, everything she knew, she shared with you. And she tells me that you will be able to use that as you're moving forward in life. This is not a where you stop living. This is where you begin to live. And this is where you begin to live, uh, like, in a bigger way. It's where you begin to live, is what she's telling me. This is not where you stop living. It's not where you start to live in your pain story, because she says that's not who she was. That's not the way she raised you to be. And it's not that you push past, you experience it, but she's telling you that and she's moving, she's like rocking or something. And she's just telling me that this is where life begins for you. And I pulled rebirth, I pulled purity, and see how there's spirit here. So we can have many experiences happening at once. So, really being able to celebrate the fact that you were blessed to have her in your life, and she was blessed to have you. You taught her love. You taught her love, and you taught her patience. And so, but she gave you her wisdom. And you are here to keep her wisdom alive, to keep things going. And she says, this is not an end. This is a beginning, just like it's a beginning for her. So her life didn't end. Her life on earth ended, and her life began. And she is living. She's beginning to live her new experience. She's asking you to live your new experience, and to live in your new experience, and to embrace the new experience for everything that it brings, because she's not gone. She's living. And I feel like she just floated into her new life. Like, she instantly moved into her new life, and she began to live this new life. And she says, I am alive. And she's asking that you come alive. This is not where your life ends. This is where your life begins. So there's a lot of changes coming for you, Cody, and a lot of kind of new beginnings, but this is ground zero, which means don't try to fill the space. Don't try to fill the void. Don't try to take on any more. Don't try to do more right now. That's not what it's about. It's about being able to exist in this void, and allow yourself to exist in this void. Allow yourself to be in that space, and to embody this space as the opportunity for a deeper healing and a deeper love. Because in that moment, you'll feel the deeper love. You're going to feel that deeper energy. And there is There isn't a clear direction what's forward. It's just the next phase will come when it's ready. Things will happen in its due time. Life will begin in its due time. So there is movement that's happening. There is change that's happening. And that's what I got for you, Cody. And I hope in some way that that helps you today. All right. Now, let's see. Uh, okay, so Lorene, I need guidance. Not sure if I should move. If you're not sure you should move, you're not ready to move. That just came so clear, Lorene. It's not that you felt that good. Um, so it's not a matter if you're not like whether or not you'll move or not. It's the fact that letting go of having to make that choice is I am not ready. And so, Lorene, you're not ready. For whatever reason, either whatever is for you in the future has not fully unfolded in the move, or the things are not, the ideal home, the ideal place. It's not there for you right now. You're simply not ready. And you may be ready in 2 months, you may be ready in 6 months, but you're not ready at this very moment. And so, taking the pressure off yourself right now is key. You're simply not ready. And I know that sounds like, well, that's just way too easy, because it really is that easy. It is that simple, and it's that easy. That's the complexities that I talk about, right? That's the things that stand in the way. It's like, maybe there's other things that are unfolding there's the unseen, right? There's the unseen existence world, things that are unfolding and happening that we can't see yet, that may be the things that are holding you back, right? My daughter needs help and I would have to move. Yes, she may need help, but are you ready, right? So this is where we get into that sense of responding in from our desperation or our guilt or our pushing ourselves with our emotions to do something because we feel the obligation, right? There's an obligation. So she may need help, but are you in that right place, in all the right things to be able to help? Could you go and help in the short term? Could you go and spend a week at a time? Could that be of service? Could that help? But are you ready to make that move? Right? And so you're not ready. And that's the clear line that's being drawn. Will you be ready? Possibly. But what can you do in the meantime? You can be a support. You can support in other ways. You can be whatever you need to be in other ways. But to make the big leap of faith, the big move, you're not fully ready for. And you never know what thoughts your daughter may have that may be changing, what things may be coming up in your daughter's life that may change the projection for her, right? And where things may change for her, where you may not have to make that move. There's something more here. And I just feel like it's like, don't feel like you have to jump into this right now. I'm like, give it a few months, give it a little bit of time. You're not there yet. Whatever's happening, whatever's unfolding hasn't fully unfolded yet. And if I let myself get involved in this and let my ego in, the minute you said that statement, it would be easy for me. And this is why, when we're working from our egoic self, and I'm a mother and we know what it's like, our kids need us and we want to go jump into action, I could easily respond to that. Oh my God, well, yes, you got to go. No, the spirit says, not yet. That's us, right? Spirit says, not yet. It is just not time. The timing hasn't come. And so, there's obvious of needing help, but whether you go spend a week, whether you spend a little bit of time, but for whatever reason, that move is not to be yet. And that's not bringing in any emotion. Spirit doesn't bring in Spirit doesn't bring in our our ego's ability to be able to create and cultivate the guilt or the desperation or the fear or the sense of obligation. It just knows something that we don't know, and trusting that. So that's what I got for you, but you got free will, so you get to do whatever you want. You are so welcome. Okay. Um, Carlene. Carlene, are you still there? Carlene. And hello to everyone who has been joining in. Trying to see if Carlene is still here, or if she's gone about her day. She's not here. Okay. Trish, are you still here? I know there's only one Trish, so. See if Trish is still here. Yes, you are. Okay, Trish. I feel like I need to go to you today. There's a sense that, your plate is full. I think your plate is not just full, it's like overflowing. And it feels sometimes like maybe you've taken on too much. And so it's not a matter that you can't do all the things that's on the plate. It's a matter of you being able to ask to allow yourself to be supported. And so you're being told by the other side, I just got this sense of, you got a lot of woman power around you. There's a lot of womanly strength around you. And you're being told that you're not asking for the support that you need. And you do need to be supported to do all the things that you do, that you can do, but not everything has to be done in one day. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to take on the whole world. So your shadow aspect is the mask that you wear is all being revealed, and you can't hide from spirit. You can't hide from your loved ones on the other side. There's no hiding, right? And so they're just saying, it's like we're revealing this to you so that you can see what happens when you take on too much yourself and you take on too much of the load. And of course, the environment do matter. I do feel the sense of you giving up some of the things that you have taken on, which are good in a way, but you don't really have the time or the space to take on. So there's the thought of, do I want to continue to do this? Do I want to continue to whatever this is? And I'm not sure where this is in your life, but there's something that you're doing either on a regular basis or something that you have thought was a good idea. And at the time it was a good idea. Things that you thought was a really good idea. And now you're second guessing those. And it's like, okay, what was a good idea at one time may not align or suit the life you're moving into. And so I do feel like there's an area of your life of where you keep trying to feed the old Trish, the Trish that could take on the world, the Trish that thought something was a good idea and you don't want to quit. You're someone who's not a quitter, right? It's like, but it was a good idea at the time, but it's not fitting no more. It's not working for your life or in your world. There's just something where it's like, open your hands and let go and let us support you, that things are going to work out. So there is something in your life that is not that you can't handle what's on your plate. It just doesn't align to the life that you're living, or the life that you want to live at this stage. And it feels like this is something that'll make life easier, and it's okay that your life gets a little bit easier. It's like you weren't put here to live being a workhorse, or always in like some sort of um always on some sort of like mission, right? Like always in this high intense energy. It's like, no, you're also here to be able to relax and be able to put your feet up and be able to breathe into life. And so there is something that I just feel like your hands are being, like you're being told, open your hands and just start letting it go. It was, might have been all, you had all these great ideas and all these things that would have worked, but you're not that person no more. And where you're kind of, we're aging, you're maturing, you're growing, your wants, your needs, the things that you want to do in life are evolving, and that you have to make space, Trish, for that version of you now. You have to make space for you. You got to make space for you in your life, because you don't fit in your life. All the things that you do, all the roles that you play, all the identities you're known as, all those masks you have to wear, that all fits in your life. Everyone else fits in your life, but Trish is not fitting in her life. And there is no space for Trish to fit in her life. And it's time for you to be able to fit into your life, and time for you to be able to be in your life. And so the things that are not fitting are the things that keep you having to keep that Trish alive and keep that Trish going. Whereas this version of you, and however this is unfolding, I feel like you're going to see and feel this big time when you move into the new year. I'm like, it's just like, okay, I'm done. Okay, I need me. And so as much as you've needed everything else and other people need you, you now need you, Trish, and you'll need you more than ever as you're moving forward. You need space for you to fit in your home, in your life, whatever that is. It's one thing to be a caretaker. It's one thing to be a nurturer, but those are parts of who we are. But there is a woman in there. There's a woman in there that needs her own life, that needs her own identity, that needs to do things that are just, it doesn't matter if it has some big freaking ass purpose. It don't need to have any big purpose. It's simply just because you want to do it, just because you want to live. And you want to feel that sense of satisfaction. So there is a calling coming from inside. There's like an angst feeling to that. That's just saying, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. That's not speaking a lie to you. It's telling you a deeper truth. And you're going to have to really start making space for that deeper truth to come in. So that's what I have for you, Trish. And I hope that resonates with you. Divine sisterhood, right? And so there's a lot of love that is working, support that is coming, that's trying to support you and trying to help you. That's what we got. Okay. You're very welcome. Okay. Jenny Talk. Are you still here, Jenny Talk? Sid, you gotta wait. Jazz, wait. Shh. One more. 1,000%? Good. Yes, that's Sid. Sid, no, wait. No, my dogs are spinning around on the floor because they give me a period of time, and then it's like they tell me when I have to be done. So I'm going with Jenny Talk, and then you girls have to wait. So Jenny. So let's see what the cards got for you today. You've never caught my live? Aw, well, see, today you were meant to catch me. Ooh. All right, Jenny. Oh, you got the same card Trish just got. Same card came flying out for you. And that is the divine feminine. That's the sisterhood. And that's about being able to care for the parts of yourself that you neglect. So there's parts of yourself that you neglect. You can create the most beautiful of homes. We can decorate things the most beautiful that we want, but it doesn't mean that the environment is the right environment. We can put pillows and pretty colors and we can decorate things up, but what's hidden behind the closet, what's hidden in our hearts, what's hidden in our minds, how much, Sid, get out here, Sid, come out. She's underneath with David. And so, we can be always in that creating that environment, that space that appears to be. We can put the face on for the world, all of those things, but what's happening inside, the internal, that is sometimes happen, is the self-destruction of your own feminine self, your own woman. And that sense of living in our masculine energy and having to be tough, having to be strong, having to be reliable, having to be dependable all the time is also then saying there's no space for my feminine. There's no space for me. And so your space and where that exists for you and what they're bringing up for you is there's a lot of areas of life of where darkness has entered in, of where hurt has come in, pain stories have come in, where life didn't really go quite as planned, and that exists, and it's definitely real, it's definitely there. But we don't heal that part of ourselves by allowing ourselves to mistreat ourselves or to be unkind to ourselves. A fluffy pillow is not going to fix what is going on. A new pretty picture, a new pretty outfit, a new hairdo is only going to be temporary satisfactions. It's always the look of trying to create something that's going to make us feel better, but yet the same feelings, the same emotions keep coming back up because we are trying to heal it with the wrong emotional medicine, right? And so bringing in this sense of looking at life from this way. And so there's a little fish in this cup. And just because we have people around us, it doesn't mean that the people around us are the people that actually create the healthiest environment either. So it could also be the company that we sometimes keep, or the fact of what we're like around other people, right? And so the fish, a saltwater fish, cannot survive in fresh water. You could take a fish from the ocean and decide you're going to keep it. You can bring a lobster home, say, oh, I want to save that lobster, because your heart is yearning to save that lobster. Oh, I could save that lobster, but I'm going to take it from the sea because I'm afraid something is going to eat it up, or I'm afraid it's going to get caught and eaten. So I'm going to take that lobster and I'm going to bring it home and I'm going to put it in some fresh water and I'm going to watch it. But what you're going to do is you're going to watch it die. You're going to watch it die because the bleeding heart was all about that you're going to save it. But what were you saving it from? And what are we saving things from, right? It's like, and so we're going to watch it die because we don't want to see all the other things that could possibly happen. And so we do that with parts of ourselves. We bury the parts of the self that need the exposure, that need to be able to live and come alive. You can't put a plant in the closet in the dark and expect it to grow. If you put the plant in the closet and expect it to grow, it's going to die regardless. Or if you're right, it's like you just can't. And so it's the same thing with yourself. Is you, no matter what is happening, you still have to bring it to the light. You have to bring yourself into the sunshine, into the light, to let things, including our emotions, including our hurt, including the things that we suppress, need to come up, and it needs to come into the light. So that sense of numbing, eventually it comes out. The things that reveal itself, that appear, life will reveal. right? Life will reveal itself. And so when we open the closet and the plant you put in there is now not there. And so that's the parts of ourselves that we're saying, it's like, well, I love that part of myself, but if you don't nurture that part of yourself, how does it grow? If you don't nurture the things that bring you joy, if you don't nurture that in yourself, how does it grow? How does it heal? How do we heal if we don't allow ourselves to bring ourselves to the right environment? So the right environment is something that is really, truly needed. And you have to really look at in your life of the environment. So if it's not a good day, what if we move position from where you're sitting today into doing something that could make the day a better day? What if something that just moves you towards that desire to just pop on today, and this is here? What if that's the one thing that begins to create a better day? The day is not over. We still got a day, right? The moment can be here, but it's not the whole day. There's more to the day. And so just how you shift the mindset and how you make those changes, what you nurture grows. Remember that, because this is a nurturing card. It's in the mother energy. What we nurture grows. And when we nurture all of the fear stories, all the hurt, or how, all the pain, or we live in the expectations and the assumptions of people in the world, well, they're this person, so that's their job. No, it's not, right? It's your job. And it's always our own job to be the one who creates that happiness in our lives. So I'm pulling one more card, and this is from my want to know a secret to a life of more than existing. So this is the new cards, and you can pre-order them now online. You can pre-order both online, but we're waiting for Canada Post to come out of strike here. Some cards will be delivered. If you're in Lacombe area, you can always pick them up. So this is the card that came here from here. So this is the last card for you, Jenny. But I need glasses. Hold on. And yes, the print is big, but my eyes are. Your soul is A-okay, but your human side could use some TLC. Your inner spirit is always on the lookout for you, giving you the heads up when things aren't right. It's not because someone else changing their life to fix. It's not about someone else changing their life to fix yours. It's empowering to take responsibility and tackle your issues head on. Remember, you do have a backup team waiting on call. You have all the support that you need. You have to remember the support is there between our guardians, your higher self, the healthy environment, the healthy place. There is a team, and we all have a team. We all have a guides. We all have the angels. We all have all of this that can work for us. But if we don't ask, who's coming in, right? And so asking for the guidance, asking for our needs to be met, whatever that is, but also communicating with those versions of yourself, those past versions. What did I need? What did I need? What did I believe? What did I believe to be true, right? What was I always believing to be true? What was I always holding on to? And asking ourselves the questions that leave us to take the deep dive. And so you're ready to take that deep dive. You're ready to move in that direction. And and that's what I have for you. So I would love to give you all more cards and more messages, but Sydney is saying absolutely no. And so Sid is doing a dance on the floor, and she's spinning around, actually sitting on her ass, and she's spinning around. And and so that's what I do have for you. Right? Always decorating my house thinking it would heal me. It doesn't work. Yes, exactly, Samantha. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It requires having to strip down and do the real serious healing in here within ourselves. We're a house, right? We are the home, and coming home is coming home to this self. That's what I have for you all. Have a beautiful day, and I will speak to you all soon. There is the video, there is the weekly energy update that is on YouTube. You can go listen. If you come in late, go back and listen to the whole message on here, because it was a whole big channeled message, like one big oracle card, which explains and all the energy that we have happening right now. Thank you for being here for always. And yeah, now I'm probably going shoveling snow in another hour again. But have a beautiful day, and I will speak to you all later. Much love.